Hello students, in the last lecture of chapter 8 electrostatics we have studied dielectrics and electric polarization. Now let's proceed the chapter. Now the next topic we have 8.9 capacitors and capacitance, combination of capacitors in series and parallel. First of all, we had studied about resistors, resistance and conductance. A resistor is nothing but an electrical component which allows current to pass through it and dissipates heat but cannot store electrical energy. So, there was a need to develop a device that can store electrical energy, and such electrical component is said to be a capacitor. The capacitor is a system consisting of two conductors having equal and opposite charges separated by an insulator or insulating medium, or we can say dielectric. That means the most common arrangement for capacitor consists of a set of conductors or conducting plates having charges on them and separated by a dielectric material. The electric field in the region between the two conductors is proportional to the magnitude of the electric charges. Besides, the potential difference between the two conductors is proportional to the magnitude of the charge there. Now, we are having the two conductors, conductor 1 and conductor 2, have the charges plus Q and minus Q. The potential of the plate P1 due to the charge plus Q is V1, and the potential on the plate 2 due to the charge minus Q is V2. And hence we can say that the potential difference between these two plates is V, which is equal to V1 minus V2. And the electric field in the region between them is proportional to Q. The potential difference V is the work done to carry a unit positive test charge from the conductor 2 to conductor 1 against the field. As this work done will be proportional to Q, then we can say the potential V is directly proportional to Q there, and hence when we are removing this proportionality sign, a constant comes which is to be given as C over here, and we are getting the value of C as Q upon V, and the ratio Q upon V is a constant, and hence this constant C is called as the capacitance of the capacitor, which depends on the size, shape and separation of the system of two conductors. So, the capacitance of a capacitor we can define as the ratio of magnitude of charge on either of the conductors to the magnitude of potential difference between the two conductors. The SI unit of the capacitance is farad, which is denoted by capital F, and the dimensional formula is m raised to minus 1, L raised to minus 2, T raised to 4 and A raised to 2 there. The relationship between the farad with respect to the charge and potential difference is given as per this formula. C is equal to Q upon V, as 1 farad is equal to 1 coulomb upon 1 volt. That means a capacitor has a capacitance of 1 farad if the potential difference across it rises by 1 volt when 1 coulomb of charge is given to it. There are the multiple units used over here. For example, 1 microfarad, 1 nanofarad, 1 picofarad, where 1 microfarad is actually 10 raised to minus 6 farad, 1 nanofarad is 10 raised to minus 9 farad, and 1 picofarad is 10 raised to minus 12 farad. So, The ability of conductor to store an electric charge and electric potential energy is called capacitance of the capacitor, which is given as C is equal to Q upon V. As capacitor does not condense energy as such, but it stores energy. There are many applications of the capacitors, such as it is used for tuning in radio circuit, it is used for smoothing rectified current in power suppliers, it is used for eliminating sparking of points when they are open or closed in an ignition system of automobile engine, and also it is used for storage of large amount of charge for use in nuclear reactors. Now, let's see the uses of capacitors. First of all, let us understand the principle of a capacitor. A parallel plate capacitor consists of two parallel metal plates, each of area A, separated by a distance d. We are considering that a metal plate P1 having the area A and positive charges Q are there. It is to be insulated on this metal plate P1. When it is fully charged, and hence we can say V be its potential, then its capacity is to be given as C1, which is equal to Q upon V. Now we are taking another identical metal plate P2, which is kept parallel to and near metal plate P1. Then the inner surface of the metal plate P2 acquires minus Q charges due to induction, and outer surface of the metal plate P2 acquires positive Q charges by the induction. The induced negative charge lowers the potential of plate P1, while induced positive charge raises its potential there. However, negative charge being near to the plate P1, there is a net decrease in the potential of the plate P1. Now, if the outer surface of the plate P2 is earth connected, as you can see in this figure B, so the free positive charges on the outer surface of P2 escapes to the earth, and minus V1 be the electric potential due to the minus Q charge on the plate P2. And in this arrangement, the net electric potential of the system is plus V minus V1 gives V minus V1. And hence the capacity C2 for this arrangement B, we can write as C2 is equal to Q upon V minus V1 there. As C2 comes greater than C1, so we can say that the capacity of the metal plate P1 is increased by keeping another identical earth connected metal plate P2 near it. To understand the principle of a capacitor, here we had considered a metal plate P1 having area A, and some positive charge plus Q is given to this plate, and its potential will be V, and the capacity C1 is given as Q upon V. Now consider another insulated metal plate P2 is held near the plate P1. Then by the induction, negative charges is produced on the nearest face and an equal positive charges develops on the farther face of P2. The induced negative charge lowers the potential of the plate P1, while the induced positive charge raises the potential of the plate P1 there. As the induced negative charges is closer to P1, so it is more effective, and there is a net reduction in the potential of the plate P1. If the outer surface of the plate P2 is connected to earth, the induced positive charges on the plate P2 being free flows to earth there, and the induced negative charge on plate P2 stays on it, as it is bound to the positive charge of the plate P1. This greatly reduces the potential of P2. If V1 is the potential on the plate P2 due to the negative charge minus Q, then the net potential of the system will be plus V minus V1, and the capacity C2 is given as Q upon V minus V1. So here, by using the figure A, we are getting the capacity C1 as Q upon V, and by doing the arrangement which is shown in the figure B, we are getting the capacity C2 as Q upon V minus V1, and hence the value C2 we are getting greater than C1. That means the capacity of the metal plate P1 is increased by placing an identical earth connected metal plate P2 near it. And such an arrangement consisting of two identical conductors, one of which is positively charged and other is earth connected, is called capacitor. Since the arrangement consisting of two parallel metal plates, it is called as the parallel plate capacitor. We are also having spherical capacitor, cylindrical capacitor, based on the shape of the conductors there. In the cylindrical capacitor, it consists of the two coaxial cylinders of radius A and B respectively. The outer surface of the inner cylinder is positively charged, and inner surface of the outer cylinder acquires the negative charges due to induction. A medium of permittivity epsilon is present between these two cylinders, and the outer surface of the outer cylinder is earth connected. And in spherical capacitor, it consists of two concentric spheres of radii A and B. The outer surface of the inner sphere having the radius A is positively charged. The inner surface of the outer sphere having the radius B acquires a negative charges by induction, and the outer surface of the outer sphere is earth connected, and a permittivity is present in the space between these two spheres. Now here we are considering the parallel plate capacitor, which consists of the two parallel metal plates, each of area A, separated by a finite distance d, containing the dielectric between them. One of the plate is positively charged and the other is connected to earth. Now let's see combination of capacitors. When there is a combination of capacitors to be used in a circuit, we can sometimes replace it with an equivalent capacitor or a single capacitor that has the same capacitance as the actual combination of the capacitors. The effective capacitance depends on the way the individual capacitors are combined. Here we are going to discuss two basic combination of capacitors which can be replaced by a single equivalent capacitor. First one is the capacitors are to be connected in series, and second is the capacitors are to be connected in parallel combination. Now let's see one by one. First, capacitors in series. When the capacitors are to be connected in series, actually they are connected one after other in the same form of chain. That means when a potential difference V is applied across the several capacitors connected end to end in such a way that the sum of potential differences across all the capacitors is equal to the applied potential difference V. Then the capacitors are said to be connected in series. Now, in series arrangement as shown over here in this figure, the first plate of the first capacitor is connected to the positive terminal of the external battery. The second plate of the first capacitor is connected to the first plate of the second conductor, and the second plate of the second capacitor is connected to first plate of the third capacitor, and the last plate, that is the second plate of the third capacitor, is connecting to the earth there. So here 3 capacitors are connected after one another in the form of the chain, and the external potential is to be applied to the first plate of the first capacitor and second plate of the third capacitor, and it is the series combination of the capacitor there. Now when the potential difference is applied, the first plate of the first capacitor is positively charged. Here we are assuming that plus Q be the charge on the first plate of the first capacitor. Then by induction, second plate of the first capacitor acquires the minus Q charges. After that, the first plate of the second capacitor acquires plus Q charges, and second plate of the second capacitor acquires minus Q charges, and so on. Similarly, the first plate of the third capacitor acquires plus Q charges, and second plate of the third capacitor acquires minus Q charges. Let V be the potential difference across this series combination of the given capacitors. In series combination of the capacitor, charge on each capacitor is same, but the potential difference across each capacitor will be different. So here we are assuming that across the first capacitor, the potential difference is given as V1. Across second capacitor, the potential difference is given as V2. And across the third capacitor, the potential difference is given as V3. And also, the capacitance of the capacitor having the potential difference V1 is C1. The capacitance of second capacitor having the potential difference V2 is C2. And the capacitance C3 is to be given for the third capacitor having the potential difference V3. Then we can say that V, which is the applied potential across 3 capacitors here, is to be written as V1 plus V2 plus V3. The potential difference across the series combination of capacitor, which is V volt, which is to be written as V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3. As per the definition, we can write value of V as the ratio of charge to its capacitance. So here we can say that V1 is nothing but is equal to Q upon C1, as the charge on each plate of the capacitor is same. That's why here we are taking it as Q only. So the charge on the first capacitor is Q and the capacitance is C1. So we can write V1 as Q upon C1. For the second capacitor, the potential difference is V2 and the capacitance is C2. The charge is same, that is Q. So V2 is to be written as Q upon C2. Similarly, for the third capacitor, the capacitance is 3 and the potential difference is V3, and hence V3 is to be written as Q upon C3. So here we have to substitute the value of V1, V2 and V3, and hence V is to be written as Q upon C1 plus Q upon C2 plus Q upon C3. And hence, the effective capacitance of three capacitors in series is given over here as all the three capacitors are connected in series after one another. So, in the figure over here, it is shown by the two parallel metal plates. Cs represents the effective capacitance of the three capacitors in series, and first plate of this capacitor acquires the plus Q charges and second plate acquires the minus Q charges there. And the potential difference between the three capacitors in series is given as V. Then we are considering that Cs, which represents the equivalent capacitance, then V is to be written as Q upon Cs as per the formula, and hence we can write the equivalent equation for V is equal to V1 plus V2 plus V3 as Q upon Cs is equal to Q upon C1 plus Q upon C2 plus Q upon C3. As charge Q on the left hand side is there in the numerator, as well as charge Q on the right hand side in each term is present in the numerator. So it will be cancelled, and hence finally we are getting 1 upon Cs is equal to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2 plus 1 upon C3. This equation is holds for the three capacitors in series. Now if two capacitors are connected in series, then the equivalent capacitance we can write as 1 upon Cs is equal to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2. Similarly, we can determine the equivalent capacitance in series when four capacitors are connected in series, as 1 upon Cs is equal to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2 plus 1 upon C3. In the same manner, we can determine an equivalent capacitance for n capacitors connected in series, which is equal to the sum of the reciprocals of the individual capacitances of the capacitors. That is 1 upon C equivalent is equal to 1 upon C1 plus 1 upon C2 plus till 1 upon Cn. And if all the capacitors are equal, then we can say that 1 upon C equivalent must be is equal to n upon C. Or we can write C equivalent is equal to C upon n. This equation is there when all the capacitors are equal and are connected in series combination. Now, let's see the combination of capacitors in parallel. First of all, the parallel arrangement of capacitors is given over here in this figure, where the insulated plates are connected to a common terminal A, which is joined to the source of potential, while the other plates are connected to another common terminal B, which is earth. Now, if the capacitors are connected between two common points or junctions, they are said to be connected in parallel. Now, in this combination, all the capacitors have the same potential difference. The potential difference across the point A and B is V, and between these two common points, all the capacitors are connected so that all the capacitors have the same potential difference. But the plate charges on each capacitor will be different. Let us consider the capacitor having the capacitance C1. The first plate, which is connected to a point A and hence positive terminal of the battery, acquires the plus Q1 charge, and second plate of the capacitor will be having minus Q1 charges. Then the second capacitor having the capacitance C2, the first plate which is connected to the point A acquires plus Q2 charges, and the second plate which is connected to the point B having the minus Q2 charge. Similarly, for the third capacitor whose capacitance is C3, the first plate which is connected to the point A having the charge plus Q3, and second plate of the third capacitor which is connected to the point B having the charge minus Q3. So over here the potential difference of all these three capacitors is same, that is V, but the charge on each capacitor is different. The charge on the capacitor C1 we are taking as Q1, the charge on the capacitor C2 is Q2, and the charge on the capacitor C3 is Q3. So that the first capacitor and its first plate acquires the plus Q1 charge, and the second plate which is connected to the point B acquires the minus Q1 charge by induction. Similarly, second capacitor, the first plate of the second capacitor is connected to the point A and acquires the plus Q2 charge, where minus Q2 charge will be acquired by the induction which is connected to the point B. And the third capacitor, the first plate is connected to the point A and acquires the plus Q3 charges, and the second plate which is connected to the point B acquires the minus Q3 charges by induction. Then we can write down the total charge Q as the sum of all the charges on each capacitor, and hence Q is to be written as Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. This we have written as per the law of conservation of charge. And also we know that as per the formula, that is C is equal to Q upon V. So we can write Q is equal to CV. Hence, for the charge Q1, we can write it as C1V, as the potential across each capacitor is same, but the capacitance of each capacitor is different and it is having different charges. So Q1 will be written as C1 into V. Q2 is to be written as C2 into V, and Q3 is to be written as C3 into V. And over here we can write the equivalent capacitance of the combination, that is in the parallel combination, as Q is equal to Cp into V. Cp indicates the equivalent capacitance of the parallel combination of capacitors. And hence we can write down the equation as Sq is equal to Q1 plus Q2 plus Q3. So we can write Q as Cp into V is equal to Q1 is C1 into V plus Q2 is C2 into V plus Q3 is C3 into V. As potential on the left hand side and right hand side is same, that means the total potential across the capacitor is same. So we can cancel over here the potential from the right hand side and the left hand side will be cancelled, as we can take out common potential V from here. So in the bracket C1 plus C2 plus C3 will remains. So V and V get cancelled, and hence we can write Cp is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. That means when the three capacitors are connected in parallel combination, so the equivalent capacitance is to be written as sum of the individual capacitances in parallel combination, that is Cp is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. Similarly, if two capacitors are connected in parallel combination, so the equivalent value of the capacitance in parallel combination is to be given as Cp is equal to C1 plus C2. And if for example 4 capacitors are connected in parallel combination, so the equivalent value of the capacitance in parallel combination is to be given as Cp is equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3 plus C4. And hence we can give the general formula for the effective capacitance Cp for the parallel combination of n capacitors are connected in parallel combination, which is to be given as Cp is equal to C1 plus C2 plus till Cn. And finally, we can write, if all the capacitors are equal, having the same value of the capacitance, then we can write for all capacitors are equal, equivalent value of the capacitance C equivalent is equal to N into C. So this is all about the combination of the capacitors in series as well as in parallel. So here we have studied capacitors and capacitance, combination of capacitors in series and parallel. The chapter will be continued next time in the next lecture. Thank you.